I scare ya?
You hear that? It's spoopy season. So, what comes to mind when you hear Halloween? Could it be trick-or-treating, costumes, parties, egging, or TPing your former employee's house because they fired you under unfair circumstances? Or even just binge-watching your favorite horror movies? Mine is Tusk. Don't look that up. So Halloween is one of the most widely celebrated holidays in the entire world. Well, at least in America. I don't know the situation in Kazakhstan or South Korea, but it's popular here, trust me. What's more fun than spending your night getting blackout drunk or trick-or-treating? Learning. Instead of rotting your teeth or drinking to forget your mistakes, why don't you spend the night with me, Professor Lopez? Strengthen your mind. School's in session, boys. And girls, of course. Disclaimer, if any of the following information is incorrect or inaccurate, blame my editor/researcher. Okay? Okay. Let's get to it, shall we? So, it all traces back to the Irish Celts. The first millennia, the Irish Celts believed that there was an afterlife called the other world. How original, right? Couldn't come up with something more creative? Well, anyways, they believed that once a year, the doors between both our world and the other world would open, therefore allowing the dead and supernatural beings such as fairies the opportunity to come and bedevil mankind. Now, take me to dinner first, am I right? Anyways, the day was known to them as Samhain, which meant summer's end. If we get to the nitty-gritty, this day was mostly just a celebration of the harvest. It commemorated the end of summer and the beginning of winter. At this time, the Irish Celts celebrated the temporary abundance of food from the recent harvest. Oh, how fun the Celts had! Archaeological evidence suggested that the Celts partied so hard due to the surviving accounts and findings pointing to high alcohol consumption at this time. So jealous. No invite? Really? So, due to the beliefs of the Irish Celts, there was always some supernatural beliefs and eerie folktales that surrounded this festival. Since the beginning, there was always a spoopiness that surrounded the celebration. So when did Samhain start to change into Halloween? Well, I'll tell you. Around the 7th century, the Catholic Church began to quickly spread around Europe. So the church found out that it was easier to convert these so-called pagans if they replaced their festivals and celebrations with Christian ones. Around mid-8th century, Pope Gregory III established Samhain on November 1st as All Saints' Day to celebrate the saints. It was also known as All Hallows' Day. About 1000 AD, All Souls' Day was established on November 2nd. Bishop of Cluny, Odilon, decreed it so after hearing about a tale which involved an island with a strange cave. Cries of tormented souls could be heard from the cave's mouth. By mid-16th century, both pagan elements of Samhain and the Christian elements of the dual festival began to morph into something new. Okay, so how did this new celebration become the modern Halloween that we know today? It had to do with several elements that stacked upon each other to become the Halloween that we know in modern day. Late 14th century is when the whole enchilada of plagues hit Europe, the bubonic plague. Death was of course associated with the bubonic plague, which gave birth to artistic imagery of the Grim Reaper and skeletons. This hybrid of a festival welcomed this imagery into the celebration with open arms. Tell me this, why do you think skeletons are always calm? It's because nothing gets under the skin. Get it? No skin? That always kills in birthday parties. Well, anyways. Now, during the late 15th century, the witch trials took place. Now, the poor souls on trial couldn't really rely on defenders like Phoenix Wright to score them a non-guilty verdict. As back then, if you were accused of being a witch, you were more than likely to be, served a perceived justice as they saw it. Some of the supposed witches were apparently accused of having gatherings in Sabbath on All Hallows. This began the connection of Halloween becoming a major holiday for witches and devils. After one of the most infamous witch trials to take place, the North Berwick witch trials, the imagery of witches, cauldrons, broomsticks, and black cats solidified itself into Halloween lore. So, speaking of the devil, how did this become an icon for Halloween? Well, around the 16th century, the devil soon became the god and leader of the witches. Historians believe Christianity at the time deemed the devil as an anti-pagan symbol. The gods that the Celts believed in were morphed into these devilish symbols that we know today as a campaign against paganism. Horned pagan gods such as Greeks Pan and Celts Cernunnos were soon associated with evil. It wasn't until the 20th century when the images of the devil became more impish and comical. Little red costume men with pitchforks, tails, and horns. So jack-o'-lanterns were already being done centuries before the popularization of Halloween. They link back to the old Irish legend of Stingy Jack. Long story short, it was about a blacksmith named Jack who outwitted the devil. After inviting the devil for a drink, he convinced him to turn himself into money so he could actually pay for the drinks. Living up to his name, he didn't want to buy any drinks, so he pocketed the devilish money, and he prevented the devil from turning back with a silver cross that he had in his pocket. Jack made a deal with the devil so that he wouldn't be able to bother him for about a year and not claim his soul after he died. Well, after he died, he was denied entry into heaven and also hell due to the agreement that he had with the devil. He was sent on his way to wander the earth alone with nothing but a coal to light within a turnip. Some of you might be saying, hey Mando, jack-o'-lanterns are made with pumpkins, you ding-dong. Well, yes they are, concerned viewers, but the start of this tradition started with turnips. So let me just finish explaining to you, you soiled Danish, alright? I know turnips are weird. Turnip, I don't know if you guys ever had turnips, but they're no bueno. They do make some good throwing projectiles though. The legend of Jack lived on. This eerie figure soon began to be known as Jack of the Lantern. And us humans, we love condensing names, so therefore Jack-o'-lantern was born. In America, we were already carving faces into pumpkins long before Halloween arrived to America. So it was just natural that turnips were switched to pumpkins due to the better size and color. That's what she said. So the phrase trick-or-treating can be traced back to a 1927 Canadian newspaper article. It was about a group of pranksters that went house to house demanding treats. So, they said the famous phrase trick-or-treat. So this is where the iconic phrase came from. So, wait. So the Canadians supposedly beat us to it? Damn, they beat us in so much already. Ice hockey, maple syrup, and even freaking mooses roaming around. Come on, man. America, we could do better. Trick-or-treating slowly made its way to northern USA, Oregon to be exact. It is believed that the actual act of trick-or-treating ironically dates back to a German Christmas tradition called Belznickling. Groups of costumed individuals going house to house asking for treats, which were basically food and drinks, in exchange for small tricks. In Nova Scotia, these Belznickling performers purposely scared children and asked if they were good. If they said yes, they would receive a treat. Halloween soon adopted this into their own tradition. As this tradition slowly reached America, children soon began dressing up as creatures such as goblins and ghosts and demanding trick or treat, hence the origin story of trick or treating. The initial treats that were being handed were things such as apples, nuts, homemade candies, and popcorn bites, or popcorn balls, should I say. Ew. Why apples? There's no fun without getting a few cavities here and there, you know what I'm saying? After World War II, luxuries like candy soon became readily available. A lot of American families found it easier and less work to purchase candies in bulk. Mid to late 20th century is when the evil commercialization of the holiday began to be. Candies, decorations, and costumes, yada yada. You know how it goes. Corporate America, milking Americans for their hard-earned money. Alright, so the culmination of all this led to the modern day Halloween we know today. So whether or not you like Halloween, it's hard to deny how intriguing this holiday is. Maybe you're just a dweeb who thinks Halloween is not cool and would rather be home twiddling your thumbs waiting for, I don't know, Thanksgiving? I'm joking. Where am I? Damn it, Terry, I'm filming right now. Wait, didn't Terry leave for a shiva an hour ago?